Welcome to Passion, a show all about love, sex, and relationships. I'm Dr. Laurie Betito. Tonight, our regular monthly feature that we call Dating Dilemmas. Every month, Frank Kermit joins us. He is an author and now best-selling author on Lulu, which is great for you. He's written many books on the subject of dating, and tonight, especially something that he has researched and written about, and that is... we're going to try to find out what the needs are of the opposite sex. And I want to focus on the needs of women. Why? Because I get questions from men all the time. I don't understand women. I just don't get it. I do this, I do that. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what they need. And I know, maybe it's not all women, but I know that there are some general things that men can learn about the needs of women. So Frank wrote a book called Everything Out of Her Mouth is a Test, a man's guide to satisfying the emotional needs of women, and also The Eye of the Seductress, a workbook for women to learn about the emotional needs of men. So we can talk about either of those topics, but I do want to focus on women because I want to answer those questions for our male listeners. Frank, welcome back.
It's great to be here, Dr. Laurie. I'm really happy to be back.
Well, we're always glad to have you on for sure. So I want to hear from some of our listeners in terms of your own struggles to understand the opposite sex. Do you have trouble? In what areas are you the most confused? What is it that remains a mystery to you? Do you find the opposite sex predictable? Maybe because you do understand them, or maybe you don't understand them and you're getting frustrated. So give us a call tonight at 514-790-0991. You can text your message at 514-800, Star Talk, star 8255 on your Bell Mobility cell phone. So I know people are wondering, what's the biggest difference between men and women? And I don't know if I want to just talk about gender differences, but I think we do have to talk in terms of our needs are different. I think that is a reality. And people have to, we have to understand each other's language because it's human nature to assume that if I need something, well, you need something. If I'm thirsty, you must be thirsty. Well, but it doesn't work like that, does it?
Exactly. In many cases, when you're dealing with people who don't understand the opposite sex, usually there's an underlying belief that, well, we're just the same. Our bodies are different, but everybody needs the same things. Well, when you're talking about survival, physical needs, food, shelter, clothing, transportation, yes, in that regard, we're all equal.
Right.
We have equal rights under the law. We should have equal rights to protection under the law. But men and women are not equal because we're not the same. We're different. We have equal rights, but we are different. And when I get somebody who says, I don't understand men or I don't understand women, usually it turns out that they have an assumption that, well, if I would react a certain way in a situation, I expect my partner to react that way.
Right.
And we will not, because we have different emotional motivations.
We also have different brains sometimes. Just the way we process information might be different. And I hear that in couples who are struggling, let's say in couples therapy, when, so often you'll get, someone will say something, the other person, well, the way I would do it, and it's not about I or the way you would do it, or just because you would do it that way, it makes it the right way. So, some of that is trying to move away from that kind of thinking and trying to really listen. And part of that, it is the communication, is to be able to really listen to what those needs are and what the other person is saying, rather than have this combat between, well, you do it this way, well, I do it this way, who's going to win? It becomes a tug of war. And most relationships, I have to say, go through this power struggle. Lots of relationships go through this power struggle because they don't understand it. Let's hear from Joe. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Ooh, female Joe. How are you?
Yes. I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Well, again, just along the same lines that you were just speaking of, when it comes to communication in my relationship, I think the biggest issue is when it's really conflict resolution. I'm the type of person that, I'm very emotional and sensitive, and I feel when there's a problem, I need to deal with it right then and there.
You need to talk it out.
I need to talk it out. I need to lay it all on the table, and that's how I feel I get over things.
Right.
Whereas my boyfriend is the opposite, and he really is like, give me time, give me my space so to cool down. And I usually do, but in the meantime, I just get even more and more frustrated.
Right. You're seething and boiling and waiting for that to happen. And you know, one of the mistakes people make is just not understanding that it's not that he doesn't want to deal with it. It's that right now, in the heat of the moment, he needs time to process, and he needs just time to cool off. And what women don't get, often what they'll do is they'll follow their partner. You know, he's trying to get away to cool off, and you're following him right to the bathroom. You know, no, you're going to talk about it right now. And of course that, leads to even more conflict.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty common though there, Joe.
But how do I just have to suck it up? Or because I feel like sometimes I'm the one doing all the accommodating. And at the end, to kind of get everything back to normal, I end up usually apologizing, even though I feel like it should be the other way around. And so, I don't know.
But if you were to give him the time to process it and come back, I think the best way is to say to you, if he could say to you, listen, yes, I know you want to talk about this. I just need a little bit of time. How about we get back to this in an hour? If he was to say that to you, you could hold off an hour.
Yeah.
Because then you could have a more calm discussion and be heard more. Because in that heat of the moment, when you're spilling it all out, he may not hear you because you haven't given him that time. So I guess I see your point, like whose needs trump whose, but if you really want good communication, we do have to respect each other's limitations sometimes, or limits, or the way that we could do it. Frank, do you want to add anything to that?
The only thing I could add is that when a guy needs his quiet time, which is emotional need number 2 of men, we need our quiet time. Here's what's happening. There's a lot of emotions going on inside us. We need to process those emotions, because if we act on the emotion in the moment, we're liable to do things that we're all going to regret later on. We need to process those so we understand exactly not just what we're feeling, but why we're feeling it. Number 2, when a woman does continue to follow a man and pester a man, the man does not interpret this as you value the relationship. A man will feel attacked.
Wow.
This is why you end up having to apologize. Because you continue to say, no, look, I value our relationship so much, we need to talk about this now. But that's not the way a guy is interpreting it. What he's interpreting is, wow, you're attacking me right now. You're trying to make this my fault, and it's not my fault, and I'm getting even more angry at the accusation. Now we're away from what the original issue was that brought on this conflict that needed to be resolved. We're now into a sense where he's now getting defensive, not because of what the original thing was, but because he's feeling so attacked in the moment. He's saying, I'm getting out of here. I don't want to be attacked.
And then you apologize for attacking him, you see?
That's really something I never considered. It's quite eye-opening.
Good. Well, take that lesson and apply it and see what happens. I'm sure you'll see a difference.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for your call. Go ahead.
One more thing I want to add here, Joe, if you're still listening.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to talk to a man, you want to get him on your side, because guys think in terms of ally versus enemy. That's how we decipher our emotional needs.
Okay.
Tell him, look, I'm not attacking you. I need your help in order to resolve this. That makes him an ally in the resolution of the conflict. Because as long as you approach him as an ally, he says, wow, she's on my side, so she's not attacking me if she's on my side.
Right. You work as a team, not against each other. We're working on this together. I'm not against you. I'm with you. So that's the message that gets through.
Oh, I feel really good about that.
Okay, good. I'm glad, Joe. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. Bye-bye now. Bye. 514-790-0991. Dating dilemmas tonight. We're trying to decipher male-female differences and trying to understand each other, basically, and better our communication and increase the odds in successful dating. So you're listening to Dating Dilemmas tonight on Passion on CJAD.
From Loser to Seducer is the story of Frank B. Kermit. This book marks the triumph of a nice guy over most of his inner demons. This includes going from being a loser to managing 5 lovers at the same time, his first Valentine's date with 2 women at the same time, and getting back the one that got away. Want to learn how you can change your life? Buy this book at franktalks.com.